Hey guys, Guy the Magic back again, and asked a couple days ago over on X if there were any video ideas or anything that people wanted me to make some content about, and I've got a few responses, so we'll get to those as soon as I can. The first one I'm going to do right now is kind of a budget video for new accounts or new players, just to get ready for the new Modern. As you guys may or may not know, very shortly, Chaos Legion will be rotating out of Modern, and the only sets we'll be able to play will be Rebellion and then the upcoming Conclave Arcana. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the cards that we know are going to be part of the new Modern. So we're going to go through Rebellion, the core, the promo, and the reward cards, and just kind of set some targets for, like, if you want to get to like a max bronze or a max silver deck, or just even if you don't want to max those cards, what are the cards that you should get maybe just at level 1 and that's good enough? But what are also some key cards that I think you need to level up? And if not at max bronze or max silver, what level do I think you should get those cards at? Okay, so let's start right now with the easy one. So let's just start with the reward cards. So this is something that you guys can do right now. You can build up your collection of Soulbound reward cards simply by playing matches and winning glint and spending it and all that. Now, what I would suggest, I know I might be a little bit different on this, but if you guys follow the channel, you know I mainly go for draws. I don't go for chess. Especially if you're a new player, you won't earn a lot of glint probably in the lower levels. I know for my new accounts, I think for my newest account, I get 60 to 80 glint per win, and I think for my other one, I might get like 150 or 200. So without getting a ton of glint, I don't want to waste it on a minor or even a major chest and just get potions or merits. It's like, hey, I need the cards. I want to level them up. I'm going to save up my glint and go that way. Now, what I did for my oldest $10 account that's earning a little bit more glint, I actually went and I will save up my glint until I get 3,500 to get a gold common. Because for me, what I want to do is I want to get that to at least max bronze. And for max bronze, you only need a single copy of a gold foil common. That will start at level 3. Same thing for rares. Rares are 15,000, but if you can manage to get a gold rare, you only need one, and then that's good enough for bronze. So you can go two different ways. What I would suggest, probably if you're brand new or fairly new and you're not earning a lot of glint, just concentrate on your common and rare draws, build those up. If you play consistently every day, by end of season, you should be able to get at least one epic draw at end of season. Maybe you'll get two. Let's say at the end of season 1 you get 10,000. I would get one epic draw and I would save that 3,000 until you get another 4,500 and get that second epic. Epics are such key cards for this set. They're extremely powerful. Some of my favorite cards are the reward cards in the epic slot. So yep, definitely go for draws, and eventually when you get into a guild, if you want, you can get some merits. For only 200, you'll get 200 merits, and for those you can get some Gladius cases to open. But once again, with Chaos Legion rotating out, another thing that's rotating out are the summoners that allow you to play gladiator cards. So the one unknown is we don't know if the new Modern is going to have a rule set still that will allow you to play gladiators or not, or if they'll remove that rule set. So that remains to be seen. So just to summarize, recap, just go for your common draws, rare draws, get a good foundation of your of these cards. Just start off trying to get your commons to 3, your rares to 2, and at end of season, go for your occasional epics. Of course, you won't get any legendaries because you won't be getting chests. But once you get this foundation where you get your commons to 3, your rares to 2, if that is your goal to get to max bronze, once you get, I would say, just one of each epic, or the epics that you like, there's only 7, so there's not a whole lot that you need to get here. At that point, if you want to kind of roll the dice, then you can start going maybe for minor or major chests to see if you get lucky and get a legendary. But these are the basis of your deck, so definitely I would say concentrate on draws. Okay, so that's it for your cards, for your reward cards that you basically have control over, that you can basically build your deck for free. Now, the next thing I want to go through, because this will be a little bit quicker, is the promo cards. That is a must-have card, Mana Warden. It's only, what is he, 13 cents, 16 cents. This is a must-have card. Even if you look at it and you say, oh, the stats aren't that great. The ability to have a Little League card, you can play it in 2 splinters. It does synergize very nicely with some cards in Fire and in Life, and it gives Shield Ward right away. So what that does is the card in front of it will gain shield, which is a very useful ability. So this is definitely, I would say, a must-have card at level 1. I would also at least get it to level 2 just to get that extra attack. There are going to be circumstances like if you have melee can attack from anywhere or a reach rule set where that will come in very handy. And 5 cards, you know, you're looking at under $1 to at least get them to level 2. The question you want to ask yourself is, do you want to go from investing in 5 cards, 5 copies, up to 30 to get Impede? For me personally, I would say no, simply because if we're trying to build a budget deck, we're trying to spend the least amount, get the least amount of cards. That is going to give us probably, you know, the best bang for our buck. So for me, get Mana Warden to level 2. We're going to ignore the legendary cards too as well because, you know, this is kind of a budget video. So now looking at the rest of the rare promo cards, Henchling Enforcer I would say is another card that is a must-have. Just level 1. At level 4 he does get True Strike, which is very nice. But once again, do you want to spend 25, you know, buy 25 copies of this card just so that he doesn't miss? You know, that's up to you. He's got a decent speed, so it's not like he has 1 speed and he's going to miss a lot. 3 speed is okay. He does gain an extra attack at level 2. So you're looking at, okay, do you want to spend, what was it, 70 some cents for a single copy? Or do you want to spend, you're looking at close to $4 just to get him at level 2 to get that 1 extra attack? So that's kind of a personal choice, but I definitely would say you do want to get one of him. He pairs greatly with Prophet Rosa, which is a water summoner from Rebellion that gives +2 archery. So now you're looking at 4 archery damage. So definitely I would say he must have level 1. Probably want to get him to level 2. And then if you do have enough of a budget, you know, if you want to go for the True Strike, that's up to you. But definitely you want 1 copy of this card. Keelan Gaines is a nice card. Now we're looking at over $1, $1.39, 8 mana. There are a lot of rule sets where you're going to want, or a lot of games where you're going to be able to play higher mana cards. So don't let that kind of be a deterrent from picking up this card. Play them in 2 different splinters. The question is going to be, if you are a new account, do you even have a Dragon Summoner going forward in Modern? Because as of now, once Quicks and Lily rotate out, is there going to be a cheap Dragon Summoner? Well, if there is, you know, then it'll be useful. Otherwise, you're only going to be able to play this with Death. 2 magic damage, Snipe. What does he get as he levels up? Level 2, he does get Phase, so that is useful. Max Silver, 25 copies, he gains Backfire. So once again, for a budget build, Magic, you're usually probably not going to have him in the front, so I don't know if Phase would be all that important. So I would say at least just get 1 copy of him, and that might be good enough. Mossmender, I would say this card is must have at least 1 copy of for the repair, because you're giving 2 different elements repair ability right at level 1. It's very squishy. At least it does have 1 armor. You're doing 2 magic damage right off the bat. Let's take a look. So level 2, it gains dodge, which is very unusual to have dodge with a 1-speed monster. So that's up to you whether you think that's worth it or not. And of course, at max silver, it gets cleanse. So very nice at level 4. But once again, it just comes down to how much your budget is. I would say if you're not going to get it to level 4, I would just leave it at level 1. Okay, Night Stalker. Great card. Little League, 2 splinters. Sneak, 3 damage right off the bat. Okay, that right there should tell you whether I think you should get this card or not. Yes, it is extremely vulnerable, but to do 3 damage for 4 mana and be able to have the versatility to play it in 2 different splinters is huge. You definitely want 1 copy of this card. Max Silver, he gains Execute, which is fantastic. But if you're not going to get him to level 4, the only thing you're gaining is 2 health to go up 2 levels. So maybe it's worth it to get 4 more copies for 1 more health. But if you're spending over $3 a copy, do you really want to spend 12, close to 13 bucks just for 1 health? Maybe just get a copy of this card and call it good. But I definitely think, 1 copy of that card is nothing. There's nothing wrong with getting a 1 Night Stalker. Okay, now after this, of course we're getting the $3 to $5 range and more. So depending on how much you want to spend per card, the Shaman. Let's take a look at this. So at level 2, it picks up Impede. Level 4, it picks up Ambush. If your budget allows to get to level 4, definitely do so. But of course, 25 copies, you're looking at 80 bucks probably or more. So for a budget build, this is probably very unrealistic. So then it just comes down to, do you really think that Impede is worth an additional $12 to $13? If not, this is a great card to pick up. Just a single BCX. It does have Void Armor, good damage, and you can throw it in high mana matches. Gribbard Smith and up, these cards are getting kind of pricey. Once again, it's one of those things where if your budget allows 1 single copy, and the stats that you see right here for a single card is good, go ahead and pick it up. Other than that, this really doesn't fit budget builds. So kind of recap, yes, you want to get the Enforcer, you want to get Mossbender and Night Stalker. 1 Keelan Games would be great along with the Warborn Shaman. Okay, so that's it for promos. We talked about rewards. Now let's get to the main set. Let's get to core. So for commons, and we're going to focus mainly on commons and rares, because if this is kind of a budget build, these are going to be, basically what you're going to focus on. This is the meat of your deck right here. Let's start right off the bat with the summoners. I think you definitely want to get these summoners to level 3. You want to have max bronze. You want to have the ability to have 2 splinters, 2 elements. You're looking at what, 14 copies each, so around $4.20. Now what you can also do and look at is kind of compare these costs to what a gold foil costs and see if it's comparable. Like right now, Dolfar is $4.10 for a gold, which is a little bit cheaper than if you wanted to get just 14 copies of him at 30 cents a piece. So do you want to pay $4.20 for a regular foil, or do you want to pay $4.10 for a gold foil and get the 10% bonus? So you definitely want the 10% bonus. So that is something to consider. Same thing with Prunda. She's just barely over that, 30 cents per card. Zedeka's at 5. I would say, me personally, if you can get a gold foil common summoner at $5 or less, and you're looking at playing in bronze where you only need, 1 copy, go ahead and pick these up. That's what I did for Gedfer for my $10 account. I have a single copy of each of these summoners because my goal is to get that to max bronze. Looking at these other cards, you can see some of the gold foils are a little bit pricey, but if you look at the top 2 rows right here, I would say all of these cards to get just a single BCX is probably worth it. You're going to play these cards a lot in the new Modern. You're going to get a 10% bonus for each one. Of course, these are a lot more expensive than if you were just going to get the regular foil. Like, let's look at Endless Ape. So he's $1.40. If you wanted just a regular foil of him, let's see, where is he? 9 cents. So if you wanted 14 copies of him, you're looking at under $1.40. So it's so close. I would say go ahead and spend just a little bit extra and get the gold foil. So to me, any gold card that you can get under, $1.50 is pretty much worth it. So all of these top 2 rows I would get. Even the Haunt, I would get a copy of gold foil. The Animator, I would get gold foil because it has a Void at level 3. The Trickster, $2, but he has 2 more hit points than he would have at level 1. Nimbledook, okay, now we have a big price jump from $2 to $2.88. From here on up, it's just a question of your budget and just what you're willing to spend. If you can spend, you don't have a problem spending like $3 or $4 for a single copy, if that's all you need, I would say go ahead and, get 1 gold foil copy of each of these. Now, if the summoners are a little bit too pricey, like, right now Brewmaster is only at 9, then go ahead and just get 14 copies of the regular foil. It's going to be a little bit less than half price. Now, if you're looking to build to silver, then it comes down to, okay, what abilities do these things get from level 3 to level 5 that's going to make it worthwhile? So this might take a little bit. Let's kind of go through it. Let's look at the Fire Mage. So at level 5, look at the difference from 5 to 1. You've got the same abilities. You're only getting 2 more speed, you're getting an armor, and 1 more health. So to me, if you want to get it to level 3, simply to get that armor, that would be good enough. You know, why spend another 46 copies to get 1 speed and 1 health? So if you want to save yourself a little bit, you know, just get this one to level 3. The Drudge, from level 1 to level 5, has the same damage. 1 more speed, 1 more armor, 2 more health. That's up to you if you want. I think a single copy is good enough. And if you get that gold foil, where this starts out at level 3, he's going to have 1 more speed and 1 more health and a level 1. Okay, the Mystic. Okay, so its big thing at level 5, which is max silver, is Void. Okay, this could be useful, but it is 60 copies of this card, but he's fairly cheap. He's only 6 cents a piece. So you're looking at maybe you can get him for $4 or a little bit less. Has the Lookout ability, doesn't gain another ability except for the Void. So if Void is worth it to you, yep, I think it's cheap enough per card. That could be one that you may want to get to level 5 for if you're going for silver. Area Bandit, you can see until it hits level 6, it doesn't gain another attack. 5 is max silver. You're getting 1 more speed, 3 more health for it being ranged and probably in your back line where this isn't that big of a deal. I would say even just a single copy of him is fine, or just a single gold version. The Trickster. So at max silver, he picks up Snare, which can be useful. Other than that, damage is the same. As you can see, the only thing he's gaining is health up to this point. So Snare, is Snare worth 60 copies to you? That's a personal decision. For me, if you're not going for level 5, just get a level 1. Call it good. The Yak, so this is a Little League tank. So the difference between level 1 and level 5 is simply 1 speed and 3 health. That's it. He doesn't have shield, so you know it's kind of not the greatest. You would hope that this thing would have shield. So let's see, what level do you want to get this thing at? Probably level 2, just 5 copies. But he's cheap, right? How much would he cost for a level 5? So level 3, you're looking at just over $1. So for $1 to have that extra health, okay, I think level 3 is probably pretty good, because otherwise you're paying 46 more copies just for a couple more health. So yep, I would say level 3. Get him to level 3 and call it good. Chaos Orc, I really like this card. I think this is going to be used a lot more than people think. This is a card I would say you definitely want to get to max silver. If you're playing silver, you want this. You want 60 copies of this while it's still pretty cheap. You want that trample. So with piercing and trample is a very nice combination, and he does pair nicely with some other cards. Remember Mana Warden? So put Mana Warden behind him so he has shield, make him last a little bit longer. He is an orc. Remember, he's going to pair nicely with some orcs. So this I think is going to be one of the key common cards going forward for the new Modern, is going to be this Chaos Orc. Speaking of Chaos, what about Chaos Lackey? So Chaos Lackey, Dispel, don't underestimate the power of Dispel. Can be very useful. At level 5, which is max silver, it gains True Strike. Once again, is True Strike going to be worth it if you need to get 60 copies of it? If you're not worried about True Strike, I would say you can go ahead and probably just get this to level 2. Just get it a little bit faster. You know, 2 speed to 1 might make a big difference, whether, you know, he attacks in a certain spot in the battle. But, you know, you definitely want to have at least 1 copy of every card for common and rare, because you just want to have as much variety as you can in your deck. You want to have more cards in your arsenal. The Seeker, I really like this card. This card is very nice. This is another card, if your budget allows it to get it to 5, you want this thing at level 5. with the phase, with the dodge, snipe. With Rosa, you're going to be doing 4 points of damage. This is just a very nice Little League card all around. And he's still affordable. He's still cheap, you know, under 10 cents. So yeah, if you can get 60 copies of him, definitely do that. Okay, rear guard. So now we have a nice Little League tank with shield. So to go from level 1 to level 5, he's just getting basically more armor and health, so he's just being able to absorb more damage. Once again, if you can afford a single gold foil to get him at level 3, that is great. Other than that, he's just gaining 1 more armor and 1 more health for that additional 46 copies. So if your budget doesn't allow that, level 3 is great to have to just at least get him to max bronze. Endless Ape. Like I said earlier, if you can get a single gold foil, I think you're good there. To go from 3 to 5 for 1 more health and 1 more speed, to me, is not really worth it. He's got scavenge, so he's going to gain health anyway. So you might as well just get, you know, a single gold copy of him and call it good. The Ranger, this card might be overlooked. You've heard me talk about Prophet Rosa. I've played this a little bit with my other accounts, and to have 3 damage snipe and double strike is so nice. So this card, even though it's 7 mana, you're like, it only does 1 damage. Yep, pair it with Rosa, do 3, hit twice, and have a lot of fun. This is a card I think you only need to get at level 1. You know, he's going to be in the back. You're not really going to have to worry a whole lot about health. If you have a little bit of extra funds, you want to get him to level 2 for an extra health, or 14 copies, you can go ahead and do that. But like I said earlier, if you pick up a single gold foil and you can get it for under $1.50 or right around that, I think that's great, to have that a little bit more durability. So yeah, definitely get a single gold foil of the Ranger, and then you should be good, because he doesn't get that second attack until gold. Okay, so now we're starting to get to the more pricey cards. Now they're going above 10 cents. All these 2-mana cards are great, and it all comes down to, except for this one that gets his ability at level 4, I think the other ones get their second ability at level 5. So for him, this one is nice. I like the death element. He has return fire. There's a lot of archers in Rebellion, so this is a pretty good ability. Of course, he does pair with the weapons training, and blind is a nice ability to have. So I would say if you're going to spend a majority of your funds that you're going to spend, like if you want to spend a little bit more per card on certain cards than others, I would say definitely key in on the 2-mana cards. If the gold foil versions are too pricey, I would say slowly build up at least to level 4 for this guy. And it's going to be a little bit, it might take you some time, but you're definitely going to want to get, or try to shoot for, getting all these 2-mana cards to level 5 if your goal is to get to max silver. Barmaid, this is a card you want to get to level 3. A single gold foil is awesome, because single gold foil is level 3 and it gets that stun. So if you can find this card, I would say for $2 or less gold foil, grab it. From 3 to 5 is really not that important. 1 speed, 1 health. So just get this card at level 3 however you can. The Fighter, another great card, neutral. It's got shield, good damage right off the bat. At level 3, he does get corrosive ward. So when he's hit by melee, it hits their armor. So I would say you definitely want to get a single gold copy of this card. Other than that, he's just gaining 1 more speed and armor, so that's not that critical. Once again, it just comes down to whether you're playing at bronze or silver, what your funds are. So I would say, yep, just get a single gold to him, or a regular foil level 3, call it good. The Overseer is going to be used a lot. You're going to see this card all over the new meta. He's huge mana, but look at the armor and health, and the flank just opens so many possibilities for what you can put in the second position. So with him, I would say single copy is good enough. You're gaining, what, 2 armor and a couple health for 59 more copies. So if you can get an affordable gold foil to get him to level 3, so he gets 1 extra health and armor, shoot for that. But after 3, for these bronze silver decks, I wouldn't worry about it. The Soldier, level 5, if you can get it to level 5 to get the Shatter, that's going to be huge. If you guys have seen a lot of the spoilers for Conclave Arcana, there are a lot of cards that have armor. So if you can ambush right off the bat and take the armor out before the battle begins, this card is going to be very, very good. I think you've seen the price move up from where it was a couple months ago. It's becoming one of the more expensive commons, and that's why. You definitely, if you are going to play at silver, you want to get 60 copies of him. He's going to be one of your more expensive cards in your deck because you're going to have to get 60 copies. If you're not playing at silver level, just go ahead and just get a single copy. Don't worry about it if you're going from bronze. One more health and one more speed is not that crucial, but definitely a must-have card in your deck going forward. Magician, healer. So of course you want level 1. Level 5, it gets shield. Kind of strange for a healer and a magic card because you would think this card's not going to be in the front. It's not going to need shield. Maybe in case of a snipe or something like that, if it's getting hit with ranged. But it doesn't get that until level 5, which is max silver. So I would say just go ahead, grab one copy, call it good. The Haunt. So the Haunt at level 5, once again, another card that gets void at max silver. Depending on your budget, I would say, yep, definitely try to get him to level 5. If you are playing on a budget, just go ahead and grab a single copy or grab a single gold copy if you are able to. The Puffer, 2-mana card. So like I mentioned earlier, some of these 2-mana cards are going to be the ones that you really want to get maxed out if you're going to play in silver. I would say you definitely want this card with the silence to max silver. So if you can't afford it right away, just chip at it as you can. Just pick up a couple copies here and there. But yeah, if you're planning on playing max silver, definitely plan on getting 60 copies of this card. I think a lot of people already know that. Forester, same thing. With the triage. Triage is huge, as you guys know, so return fire. Very nice combination of abilities. Of course, it's 2 mana, pairs also with weapons training. All these no attack cards, I think you want to get to level 4 or 5. Animator, you definitely want to get to level 3 because you want it to have that void. That's why I said if you can get a single gold copy of this card, definitely do so. To go from 3 to 5, you're spending 46 extra cards for 1 more speed, 1 more health. To me, it's not worth it. So just get a single gold copy if you can get this under $2 and you are set. Scout. This one gets Inspire. So once again, 2-mana card. If you are playing silver, get it to level 5. If not, single copy is good. Summoners, we already talked about. So you definitely want to get the summoners to the level that you are going to play at. And the Surveyor gets slow. So another awesome ability to get this card up to level 5 for max silver. Okay, so that's it for your commons from Rebellion. So what about the rares? So we've got 28 rares. I would say, like I mentioned earlier, definitely get 1 of each. You want to have the flexibility. Now the only ones I would say maybe you can skip getting 1 of each would be the summoners. That's up to you. You guys have seen what the new Conclave summoners are going to be. Where they're going to have that racial ability, where they're going to give bonuses, plus they're going to give bonuses to the entire team. I like the rare summoners in Conclave Arcana a lot more than I do in Rebellion. The only 2 I really like in Rebellion are Fabino and Rosa, because they give +2 to a couple of your units. So these 2, I would say, if you want to get these summoners, that is a good idea. Other than that, the other ones, to me, you can pretty much skip. If you want to skip Nomos, skip Rekla, skip Avina even. It's decent, but I think the better ones are to come. So if you're just looking to build your summoners, I would say get the commons, Fabina and Rosa, and then wait for Conclave Arcana. Moxian Rebel, you want 1 copy of it. Get it now. Get it before it's $3 or more. Don't worry about leveling it up. For a budget build, 1 is good enough. So definitely get Moxian Rebel. But let's start at the beginning. So your cheaper cards, are any of these worth getting at a higher level? The Demon you want at level 2. Maybe you guys didn't know it. You just saw level 1. Get at level 2, gets a True Strike, and you're set. You don't need to go to level 4. You're only gaining health. So Demon, get to level 2. The Beast, at max silver, he gets Affliction. At level 3, he gets an extra attack. So this is a pretty cheap card. You're only looking at 11 cents. So, you know, is it worth it to you to pick up 14 copies, spend what, $1.50, $1.60 to get that one extra damage? That's a personal choice. Of course, you want one copy. I would say level 3 is not bad. And then, you know, once again, when budget allows, get it to 4 so you get that affliction. The sniper. So at level 3, he gains camouflage. Max silver, he gains another attack. So if you're playing in silver, this is a card you definitely want to get to level 4. If you're just playing in bronze, just get a single copy and you're good to go. The archer. So from level 1 to level 4, does not get any more damage. 1 more speed, 1 more armor, a couple more health, I would say for him. With the lookout and all that, I would say just get a single copy of him. Lysaros, this is one of my favorites in the new set. You definitely want him at level 2 to get that extra damage. If you can get him to level 4, he's gaining a speed, he's gaining 2 armor, and he's gaining another health. So I would say definitely get him to level 2, even level 3, because if you notice from 2 to 3, he's gaining a speed and he's gaining an armor. So he's gaining 2 stats in one level. Usually cards only gain 1 stat. And then once again, if you go from 3 to 4, he's gaining 1 armor and 1 health. So if your budget allows it and you do have funds to spend and you are playing at silver, I would get him to level 4. You are going to see him all over the new modern. You pair him with Fabino, even at level 2, and he's hitting for 5, and he's got that armor and health. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that card. Okay, Pirate of 8. So Pirate of 8, get him to level 3 because you want that extra attack. I would not worry about spending 11 more or buying 11 more copies just for 1 more health. But yeah, get Pirate of 8 to level 3. The Flame Mephit, level 3 for the extra attack. Definitely want that. Of course, if you're just going bronze, max bronze is just level 2, so just get a single copy and you're good for that for bronze. Sea Dog of 8. If you're playing in bronze, you definitely want him too because you want that extra attack. If you are playing in silver, I think this is one of the very few cards that has self-heal. So I do not think there's a lot of healing in, at least from what we've seen in Conclave Arcana, if hardly any at all. So heal is going to be an ability that's going to be very desired in the new modern. So not a lot of heal. You can get this heal at max silver. If you can afford to do it, go ahead and get this card to level 4. Okay, Torch. So he's a guy that can attack from the front. Of course, you definitely want to get him at least to level 2, whether you're playing bronze or silver. Now to go from max bronze to max silver, 1 more speed and 1 more health. For me, it's not really worth it, so I think I would probably just go ahead and get him at level 2. Okay, look at this. This is the new race that's going to become all the range, the Olans. So what does he get? So same damage, same speed. So he's getting 1 more armor and a couple more health. He has melee, but his main thing is opportunity, so he's going to be in the middle of the field pretty much on your team. I would say just get 1 copy of him and you're good. He's not getting any faster, doing more damage, so definitely just get 1 of him. He'll get better with the new cards. Wailing Wraith. This one you want at level 3 because you want that second attack. If you're only playing in bronze, just get 1 copy. Blackmoor Nymph. So this one at level 3 gets snares, so this can be useful, of course, in the Earthquake rule sets. I believe it's fairly cheap, so yeah, I would go ahead and get this to level 3. If max silver, I think level 3 is good enough. You don't need to spend the extra copies for that. Okay, I don't think people realize how good this card is. This is the card I've been wanting to tell you guys about, Chaos Jailer. Get him to level 2. Get him to level 2. You will enjoy it, and this is why. He has ambush. So he ambushes on turn 1, or before turn 1. He sticks his poison right away. the battle begins, and the thing takes poison damage, and it could kill it right off the bat. So he's going to attack something that has the lowest health. So if he hits something with poison that has 1 or 2 health and the battle starts, it's dead. This card is very, very, very good. I've lost to this card several times, so I'm telling you right now, you want this card at level 2. He unfortunately does not gain any speed from 2 to 4. He does not gain any extra abilities from 2 to 4. So it's just simply up to you whether you want to get him to level 4 to get that 1 armor to maybe give him 1 more extra hit. But for me, level 2 is good enough for bronze or silver. But you definitely want to get him to 2 to get that poison. He is fantastic. Oh, and he's probably an orc too, so he's going to pair well with the orc synergies. Okay, Chaos Jailer. This card is interesting because I think it's the only card that has Bloodlust in Rebellion. Or one of the few. I think it's definitely the only rare that has Bloodlust. The only problem is it has Scattershot. So it's got to hit something and kill it, and if it's scattershotting, you know, all the time, plus it's only doing 1 damage. I don't know how often this is going to kick in. Maybe there's some good synergies going forward with the new modern once Conclave comes out, but this is a card I think you only just need a single copy. I already talked about the Summoner, Drybone Bowdog. So you want him at level 3 to get that extra attack for neutral. So now you're doing ambush damage. You're doing Scattershot, 2 damage. Pair it with Rosa, you're doing 4 damage. So you're going to do 4 damage before the battle begins, and it's going to be Scattershot again. So you're going to probably hit 2 different targets right at the beginning of the battle. So very, very good card, and I think underrated and overlooked. The Demon, Taunt. Oh, so the difference from 1 to 4. So at level 3, Corrosive Ward when hit by a melee attack. Yes, level 3 is useful, but I would say just have a single copy. Anarchist, another card I think that's overlooked. Deep Lurker's going away, so this is kind of a poor man's Deep Lurker. He doesn't get that 3rd attack until level 5, which is already past max silver. So basically, if you can just get 1 copy of him, you're pretty much good to go. If you have a little bit of extra funds, get him to 3 for that 1 extra speed, so maybe he'll attack before your opponent's does. Okay, so now we're wrapping this up with the last few cards. The Hunter. So you want to get this to level 4 definitely for the Silence. So once again, if you're playing in silver, definitely get him to level 4. If you're in bronze, single copy. Torch Vizier, you can see we're getting to the more expensive rares. Deflect at level 4. But I would say just go ahead and concentrate. Getting this to level 2 will be good enough in most cases. And it looks like we got 3 cards left. So the Fighter. Man, this guy is just good. Well, I would say if you're playing in bronze, level 2, yep, it's as good as you can get. But if you're in silver, get him to level 3. Level 4, you're just gaining 1 armor. So 11 more copies for 1 more armor really isn't worth it. So bronze, get him to level 2 for the void armor. Silver, get him to level 3. Prophet Rosa is awesome. Fabino is awesome. Volter, another must-have card. Is level 1 good enough? Maybe if you're on a very tight budget, level 1. If you are playing in silver, definitely get him to 3. Her to 3. And then finally the Soothsayer. I think you guys know this, but you want to get it to 2 for the heal. If you have the budget, definitely get it to 4 for Lookout. A lot of sneak, a lot of opportunity. I think we've seen in Conclave Arcana, and a lot more than is Rebellion. So don't overlook the ability of Lookout. Lookout is going to be very important. Of course, being a healer, it's going to be towards the back of your lineup. So this is going to be a very important ability. So yes, once again, budget. If you're playing in silver, shoot for 4. Bronze, you got a great tank heal and cleanse at level 2. All right, and we already said you only want 1 copy of Moxie and Rebel. So not really going to go into legendaries for this because legendaries are expensive. Are there any affordable epics? Yes. All these epics you can see are now under $2. So just very quickly, I would say 1 copy of each of these should be good enough if you're on a very tight budget. The ones you want to key in on, you want to key on Palace, neutral for the reach. You want to get Iron Hood because it is weapons training. Same thing with Crowr, weapons training and flank. You want to get Toledo for the tank heal. As you can probably see right now, there's not a whole lot of tank heal cards. And then Captain Fellblade for the sneak and double attack. I think these are pretty much well known. So yes, I would definitely say get 1 copy of each of these. Now, are there any that get better because at level 2? So if you're going to play, let's see, I believe if you're playing silver, I think level 3 is max for max silver. So 1 copy is good enough. If you really want to spend 9 more copies, which is going to be about another $20 just to get strengthened, you could probably spend that money leveling other cards. Yeah, I don't think there's any of these that I would get right off the bat at level 2. Because like I said, we're concentrating on budget builds. So yep, definitely 1 of each epic because they're under $2, so they should be pretty affordable. Most of the rares, I would say level 2 or level 3 is probably good enough. Like I said, the summoners, you can kind of pick and choose the rare ones. Like I said, my personal favorites are Rosa and Fabino. It's up to you. If you like Rekla for the deflect, definitely go ahead and do that as well. Moxie and Rebel, a single copy is definitely a must-have. And then for your commons, definitely get your dual summoners. Whether you're going to play in bronze or silver, try to get them maxed out, max bronze or max silver. These things are very, very useful with that dual ability. Okay, guys, there you have it. There's just kind of my ideas and suggestions for a budget build for the new Modern going forward. Like I said, concentrating on commons, rares, and epics. The legendaries, of course, get very pricey along with the legendary summoner. So just wanted to focus in on cards, basically, $3 or less, per card. So there you have it. Hope that helps out. Hope you guys do well and are excited for the new Modern that's coming up. And just, can you believe it? It's only like a couple weeks away and all the Chaos Legion cards are going away. So it's going to be exciting times. There's going to be a lot of meta shifts. There's going to be a lot of cool new decks that come out. So hopefully you'll be a little bit ahead of the curve. And like I said, if you can get just 1 of each of these, you're going to have a very, very strong foundation for your deck going forward. So until next time, stay the course, keep on forge and have fun, and I'll see you soon. And actually, I will see you tomorrow with the next edition of the Land Market Watch. Take care.